Hot takes or toast. Conference championship games are Sunday. Who do you want in the Super Bowl? Rick wants Chiefs and Eagles. Didn't we just see that game? Let's see it again.
Well, it's a couple years back now.
Reed wants Washington and Buffalo. Give him some new faces.
There's something to be said for that. If you don't have a team, I don't have a team, that you get some new blood in there, particularly the long-suffering fans of Buffalo. The other three have had their moment in the sun. Buffalo, which only has its moment in the sun in the summer. It would be cool for the fans. Like I've often said, for the Jazz, when they were owned by the Millers, the number one reason I wanted to see the Jazz win it all were for Larry Miller and Jerry Sloan. The number two reason were the fans. It wasn't even the players.
But all the fans you knew in your neighborhood, and you were just sitting there taking odds on which one of them would actually break down and cry. Who would take off their shirt and run through the neighborhood like an idiot. like they're 8 years old.
One lady?
When they're 80. I need to do that. After he said, I bet that's where this goes.
Yeah.
But
I think she was a Relief Society president.
68-year-old running around like he's an 8-year-old celebrating would crack you up.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an outstanding fan base. And so, and Larry Miller, my gosh, he'd ball. He balled.
Absolutely.
And Jerry Sloan. I was once talking to Jerry about winning it all and what it takes and blah, blah, blah. And he said, how would I know? I never won a championship. Get out of town. You're a winner, man. And the way he said it, he could be gruff.
Uh-huh.
And the way he said it, I wanted to just say, I blew it off. I just let him go. But I thought, no, don't. That stinks that you're not. And, the new owner and the new ownership hasn't suffered enough. Plus, they're nowhere near getting to that, so it's irrelevant. By the time they're getting ready,
they will have suffered enough.
Yeah, right.
Then they'll be like, man, they've worked on this for
But the fan
15, 20
base,
years.
I see a lot of similarities between Buffalo and here. Smaller place, colder
less
weather,
glamorous,
blah, blah, blah.
colder weather, right?
I've been to Buffalo, and I knew somebody I told you in college who was just a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. But you could see it on the television. You don't even have to be there. You get it. We get it because we see it here, and we're sports fans. Sports fans understand. They understand what it's like to have that passion for that team.
And they've got it.
Yeah.
And every time the camera sweeps the crowd, you see it.
Exactly. Over and over again.
The chaos in that stadium when they score is just awesome.
And they have football and hockey. We have, we don't have all the sports either. And so it would be cool. And Josh Allen's a great story out of the Podunks of Fresno, and he has one scholarship offer that he solicited, and Bowl over there in Wyoming says yeah, and he goes there. And also, too, there's that Wyoming connection. I've been there a million times, and those people, they're diehards, too. Yeah, the Wyoming fans have the worst undeserved rep. There's a few of them who are crazies, but most of them, great, great fans. Talked with many of them over the years, basketball and football. And they would celebrate because they don't put that many guys in the big time, right? And here it would be.
He's their guy.
Yeah.
He's their guy.
Yeah. He would, yeah. And they would have fun with that. So I would love, as not having a team, nothing against the Chiefs, but they've already won a whole bunch. And Andy Reid, what do you want to be, more great?
Yes. The three-peat.
And that'd be cool and all, but he doesn't need it.
Come up short in the AFC title game.
Probably not going to happen. And I don't know who I have to see who makes it in the Super Bowl. And one game, anything can happen type of thing. We've seen it before with the Giants beating the undefeated Patriots. But Andy Reid is great enough. And they want to win just as bad, and that's the way of the world. Just because you deserve something doesn't mean you get it. The only way you get it is by literally getting it. It's not anointed. It's not appointed here. So I would like to see Buffalo, but it's going to be a hard task. In some ways, the Buffalo, if they lose this game Sunday, this would be harder than losing the Super Bowl. At least you got to the Super Bowl those, 4 times. Here, they keep running into the Chiefs. This is like all those teams in the 80s that ran into the Lakers. Had some really good teams there, but you can't get bypast this one. Or in the 90s, all the teams that ran into Jordan.
Whenever you read about, Josh Allen and his playoff struggles and the playoff failures, all you need to know is he's 7-2 against the rest of the league, and he's 0-3 against the Chiefs.
That's so. I don't buy that.
It's the Chiefs.
I don't
the problem.
buy. These are not starting pitchers here. He's not 7-2. The team is 7-2. You tell me Lamar Jackson lost that game the other day? No.
Not by himself. Yeah, obviously, there was a drop at the goal line on the 2-point conversion. And as he pointed out, which I think is one of the reasons to like Lamar Jackson, is he went to the podium and didn't let everyone blame the tight end and pointed out his own turnovers in the first half. So good for him.
Yeah, well, Lamar Jackson, I thought, was outstanding in that game. There's a winner and a loser, and they barely won. Good for them. But it's like, man, you competed your butt off. What more can you do? If Josh Allen is viewed that way, then I'd like to see him get that opportunity. But I said before the start of the season, and I'm not changing it, I'm going Kansas City
until they get beat.
I see them get beat. Yeah. I would like to see Jalen Hurts get one, too. I love the way he handled himself in college when he got taken out. And he didn't cause a ruckus. It wasn't about put the spotlight on me, blah, blah, blah. He left and went to Oklahoma, as we know the story. Mm-hmm. And I believe he went and got his master's degree.
Yeah.
So that's a role model right there. He goes out into the community and goes into an area that needs it, and he says, young people, you need to get your education. Hey.
I did it.
He's walking the walk, man.
I know. And he didn't need it. No, he's obviously going to make so much money.
Right.
He doesn't need an education.
Right.
But nonetheless, for people who look up to him, there it is.
Right. And for 90% of us, you want to get out of whatever situation you're in, it's got to be some form of education, whether it's the formal, the trade school, whatever it might be. Junior college, yes, absolutely. Junior college, yeah. My sister went to junior college. She got her doctorate. And so that's extremely important. So he's a living example of, if he chooses to preach that in his public appearances that he does in the Philadelphia area or wherever, that's a role model. And I would like to see that type of behavior rewarded. So I would like to see that too.
Nelly says, anyone but the Cheats or the Swifties. I'm done watching that crap.
That is overblown, but it's also meaningless.
They got to take a shot at somebody after the touchdown.
Who gives a flying know? That is like so overblown. Yes, it's too much, but at the same time, who cares?
Brandy, not Kansas City. Someone else needs to go. No more Taylor Swiftie shows.
I think that they need to stop with that, but they can't. They can't help themselves. I've already seen it. When Travis Kelce scores a touchdown, I know how she's going to react. Yeah. I get it. Great. And I wish them nothing but the best. May they have little children live in the country and enjoy their lives. But was she one of the ones who's moving out of the country?
Yak will Google that, see if she wants to.
So maybe the only time she'll see them play is if
a game in London or something. Yeah. It's not what they do. They send the worst teams over to Europe. They're not sending the best teams.
Which
over.
I can relate to saying you're leaving the country, because I said I'm leaving the market just as many times.
You did, and here you are. Jesse wants Kansas City and Washington. Washington is a fresh story.
It is.
fresh story and a new quarterback.
True, yeah.
Two road playoff wins so far in the playoffs, and Washington has them both. It's been home teams other than
Daniels is not getting roasted in the Valley of the Sun, but one other guy is.
Herm?
Yeah.
Because they didn't win with Jaden Daniels and everybody else did?
I mean, the year before he left, I think he had 10 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions. But just most Sun Devil fans, when they see Herm there, it just makes their stomach turn upside down. But I keep saying, hey, without that bumbling fool, you didn't have Dillingham. So it worked out.
There it is.
Yeah.
All roads lead to Dillingham.
Yeah. And so, but he tries to claim such a deep connection to the guy. And he really didn't blow up until he went to LSU and won the Heisman. And now look at him, man. Wow.
He's crushing it.
He's a future MVP candidate, potentially. And he's got what they call it, that ability to look like nothing's there and get 6 or 7 yards. So it seems like Washington is constantly in favorable down and distance, which makes all the difference in the world. It makes all
the difference, yes. We can ask an offensive coordinator about that later today. Aaron Roderick will be joining us at 8:30, BYU offensive coordinator.
And BYU beat Jaden Daniels.
I don't get why Philly is a 6-point favorite in this game. Maybe when I watch the game, I'll get it. And I suppose it's just, the running attack is just awesome. But the game feels like a toss-up. They played twice. They split them. And that second game, which you would think would be more true, it's more recent.
So then put some money on Washington.
It came down to a play in the final minute, and they got the touchdown, and they won the game by a field goal.
Put down 20,000 on Washington.
Yeah.
You've got it.
Not putting down 20,000.
You've got it.
Everybody.
Come on.
I'm not putting 20,000.
You notice, Yak, he didn't say he didn't have it? Did you notice that part?
No one would believe that part, whether it's true or not.
Paycheck is why I live in Utah.
You sold the big lie so much.
Oh, I've sold it?
Yeah, you saved a school $600,000?
You have insider trading on that. Mm-hmm. You've purchased it, bought it, and sold it, rebought it, and moved up to the east side.
That sounds illegal. That sounds like it was money laundering.
You got a big TV and paychecks while you live in Utah.
No, I'm too into myself to be annoyed by other people.
Yeah. For me,
I like that one.
I just wanted to be among the people. You wanted to cash in on them. You're like a pro athlete here.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. When we come back, grades. The end of season grades. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.